Today's topic, compress time and shorten the gap. Hi, I'm Doug Holt, author of Your Own Story, and this is your Daily Growth Hack, where each day we give you a tip, trick, or insight to help you up-level what we call the 5 to thrive. That is your mind, your body, your soul, your relationships, and your business. Oftentimes when we're looking at doing something, we take the DIY approach to it. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Oftentimes we want to learn a foreign language. We might buy audio cassettes. We might buy a book. We might do some research online. And when it comes to our body, maybe it's working out. Maybe we decide we want to get a subscription to men's fitness or women's fitness. And maybe we buy a book or two, or maybe even take a class. But how often do we actually take that goal and compress the time? Compress the time and shorten the gap from where we are today to where we want to be. Now, the key to this is finding somebody who's been there and done that and can actually help us along the way. Now, in the area of your mind, I made an example of learning Spanish, right? Yes, you can read books. Yes, you can listen to audio. But by finding a qualified Spanish instructor, it's going to help you compress that time so you can focus on the most important areas of that learning. Now, this can go with all skills. Right? So if you want to learn a particular application on the web or an internet protocol, what I do is I hire the best of the best to teach me exactly how to do it. Yes, you can go to something like lynda.com or many of the other great platforms that are out there to teach you. Even YouTube has great tutorials. But by hiring an expert, they can actually compress that time and shorten the gap between where you want to be and where you are today. And for me, when I hire a professional, I don't have to sit through hours of videos or courses. They can show me the tips and tricks right away that apply to what my outcome is. Now, this also goes in the area of business and finance, and that's why I seek the best financial advice whenever possible, but also with coaching. I always have a coach in my corner, help me see my blind spots, but also to help me make sure that I'm doing the right things to get to where I want to go. This is exactly what I do for my clients. Now, in the area of relationships, having somebody that can actually help you with your relationships is critical. Relationships are key. And I know from my own personal experience, when the relationships in my life aren't working really well, nothing seems to work well. So I've actually hired coaches in different areas, whether it be relations with my wife in a marriage, but also with my family or with coworkers, how to better communicate with people, especially making sure that my communication style lands on them. And that's where it's critical. So what I'm going to invite you to do today is look at your 5 to thrive, your mind, your body, your soul, your relationships, and your business, and look at what your outcomes are in these areas. Now, what can you do to shorten the gap, right? What can you do in each of these areas to shorten the gap from where you are today to where you want to be and compress that learning time, right? Learn from other people's mistakes, learn from other people's experiences so you don't have to go through them. And that way you can enjoy the journey a little bit more. So in your mind, if there's an area you want to learn, maybe it's web programming. Maybe you'd hire the best web programmer. And yeah, maybe a lynda.com course is only going to cost you $30 a month. But what's the opportunity cost of the time that somebody else could just show you, whether it be Russell Brunson or somebody that charges $150,000 a year, but what can they actually show you and what's your time worth? That's really important to understand. And in the area of your body, you might want to hire a coach, a personal trainer. Look, I have over 18 degrees and certifications in the health and fitness field, yet I have a trainer. I have a trainer that's showing me different things. They're compressing time. I'm learning new skills, and they're also keeping me accountable, making sure I'm doing those things that, I might skip in a workout because it's just not convenient or fun. Now, in the area, like you said, in the area of soul, what is that for you? For me, it's getting outdoors. So maybe I would get somebody like a snowboarding instructor so I can get better at snowboarding. I started snowboarding last year. I've always skied. So that's something that's interesting. And that's something that I do. And then maybe in the area of relationships, like I said, I'm constantly looking to improve my skill sets in the area of relationships, both with my wife and my child, my 8-month-old child. So I'm learning different techniques on how to communicate to him so he can understand me, but also with staff and public speaking. Instead of just taking a public speaking course, what I would do is I would hire somebody who teaches public speaking at a very high level. And that way, again, I'm compressing my time. I can get there faster. In the area of my business, again, I have a coach. It's always important to have somebody looking at your back and making sure you can get them. Now, if you can't afford somebody, this is something that comes up a lot. People say, Doug, I'd love to coach with you, but I can't afford it. What can I do? or they want to coach with somebody else and they're looking for suggestions. Can I do an internship, an apprenticeship? And oftentimes what I tell them is, look, if you want to do all these things, and I recommend compressing time in every area of your life the best that you can, except for those things that you want to stop and smell the roses, right? But things when it comes to learning and growth, if you can shorten the gap, do it. Do it at all costs. And what I say is we all have things and skill sets that we can bring to the table. Extra value, right? And so what you could do is, let's just say it's I'll make it up, it's a personal trainer. You can't afford a personal trainer, or maybe you've vested somewhere else. I'll also tell you that probably you can afford it and you've just chosen to spend your money elsewhere. How was happy hour, right? So what you want to think about with this personal trainer is, where could you add massive value, right? Where could you have massive value to them? So say my trainer charges $150 an hour for personal training and I want to go 3 times a week, right? So that's $450 a week. And maybe I just don't have the free flowing cash right now. Well, what could I do? Maybe I can help him with his cleaning his gym, help him with his website, help him with his marketing by passing out flyers. There's a lot of ways you can do this. Be creative. Do not let an objection or what you think is a barrier to stop you from moving forward, especially when it comes to growth. I want it all for you. So again, grab your 5 to Thrive, grab your journal, write down your 5 to Thrive, and look at all the areas of where you want outcomes. And how can you compress time? Who is somebody you can reach out to? If you don't know who you can reach out to me personally, and I will put you in contact with somebody that can potentially help you. Now again, you have to make the investment in yourself. I can't do that for you, but let me know how I can help you. Of course, as always, go over to authorofyourownstory.com as well, where you can get more tips, tricks, and techniques delivered right to your inbox so you don't miss great information coming at you every single day. And if you haven't already, go over to authorofyourownstory.com and get on the wait list for the Author of Your Own Story University. That is where we're doing deep dives. We're opening the doors again so you have a chance to get in. I've heard from several of you that were upset that you didn't get in the first time, but we only have a certain number of people. We have a certain number of slots and it's closing soon, so make sure you get on that. It's the best deal I can think of. And as always, go out and inspire someone simply by doing the things that we're talking about here, doing the work. You're going to inspire people above and beyond what you ever thought was possible, simply by being the author of your own story. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed today's Daily Growth Hacks. Please put your comments right down below, and remember to click subscribe. This way we can ensure that we're delivering these Daily Growth Hacks right to you each and every day. On behalf of the whole team here, remember, go out and be the author of your own story.